Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Rome. It's time for early Best Actress predictions. We just went over Best Picture, and now we're going over Best Actress. You may notice we're in a new place. The set's going to change. This is what we have right now, and we're going to try to get a better one. If you have any fun ideas for this set, you can let us know. Starting off with number 1, Ana de Armas in Blonde. You agree with this being number 1?
Yeah, I would concede.
Why is this number 1? She's completely transforming into Marilyn Monroe. Ana de Armas seems like she, after Knives Out, it's like, oh, where's she going next? Where's she going next? Like, she's going to get an Oscar nomination someday, and this could be a win. This could honestly be a win.
Yeah, the thing is, is it going to be a Best Picture nominated film? And that definitely helps you, but we've also seen, Renee Zellweger and Judy take the whole cake without any other nominations except for makeup. And this could get a makeup nomination. I mean, that's always a great deal.
And I think it's going to be a little more complex than your average Marilyn Monroe performance, just based on the source material. Number 2 is Frances McDormand in The Tragedy of Macbeth. You cannot deny Frances McDormand another nomination here. I mean, giving her a 4th win, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd be saying it's pretty likely she's going to get a nomination. I mean, this is one of the bigger contenders of the year, seemingly. Joel Coen's directing this. You're going to get Denzel. You're going to get McDormand.
And you got to admire this career best work McDormand's putting out in this later stage of her life. McDormand's just churning out amazing performance after amazing performance, and she's going to give another one in Macbeth. How could you deny that her playing Lady Macbeth's going to get a nomination? I'm not sure you can. I don't think she'll win again because that would be fucking insane if she got 4, but will she be nominated? Yeah.
Number 3 is Margot Robbie in the untitled David O. Russell project, aka Canterbury Glass. Why would you deny this? David O. Russell movies get so many acting nominations, so many. He got 4 for 2 movies in a row, okay? And then he got 3 for the other one.
You can expect that if the film is a big Oscar contender, which it very well might be, that there's going to be a lead actress nomination. And who's the lead actress in his movie? All you have to do is ask that question, and then you say, okay, it's Margot Robbie.
It's also two-time Academy Award nominee, Margot Robbie, who's primed to get more nominations and is eventually going to be an Oscar winner.
But we don't know what kind of David O. Russell film this is, because normally it's a little bit quirky.
It's a period.
I know. That's why it's what am I doing? What's happening here? But if this film is as big as they say it is, then she will get nominated.
She could be in the winning conversation too. Let's be honest about that. 4 is Lady Gaga in House of Gucci.
I think you have to have this on here. I mean, she was fantastic in A Star Is Born. She's going to be screaming in a sort of Italian impression here, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and she's just going to show once again, that she has this range. Anytime Lady Gaga's not playing Lady Gaga, she's being another person, we're impressed by it. And so it's just easy for her because she's put on this persona to impress us. And she's phenomenal as an actress.
She's even done some really impressive bits of acting in performances that she's done at Lady Gaga concerts, very impressive stuff. She's actually
she's an amazing actress.
And this is probably one of the biggest contenders of the year, unless something happens and it's The Counselor. But this is probably one of the bigger ones. 5, we have Martha Plimpton in Mass. It's so on the cusp. Yeah. Because Mass just got picked up by Bleecker Street. Big news. It was waiting on a distributor since Sundance. It was why did nobody pick this up? But Bleecker Street got it. They have gotten 2 Oscar nominations in their past. Bryan Cranston, Trumbo. Viggo Mortensen, Captain Fantastic. They haven't had a huge contender. They know that they have a potential big contender on their hands. They're going to try to get more nominations than they've ever
gotten. They have an awards release date as well, a Q4 release date. They don't necessarily have all the money in the world perhaps to just dump into an Oscar campaign for Mass.
Yeah, and a lot of Bleecker Street films kind of fall into this sort of it's an acclaimed critic indie, but it just doesn't get awards. I mean, even last year Supernova. They could have campaigned that and gotten Stanley Tucci a nomination.
Probably.
They could have.
Probably.
And they didn't really do it. So it's not necessarily in the best hands. I mean, that's what they're doing though. They're trying to.
Yeah, we always, welcome them to change and grow.
They want to
but Martha Plimpton in Mass is just devastating and phenomenal. It is just easily one of the best performances of the year, and I know it's going to be, even though it's so early. But then perhaps Mass isn't nominated for Best Picture.
I do think Ann Dowd kind of has to be.
I'd be shocked
if she was. And so
Mass is so undeniably well acted and well written that I need it to happen. I want it to happen.
But if Ann Dowd's there, they're gonna watch the movie and they're gonna go, well, there's another one. I mean, right?
If Mass gets no nominations, that would be so shameful. At least Ann Dowd. At least the screenplay. I have hope for her. I really do. And I think it's good to put her in your top 5.
At 6, it's Kirsten Dunst in Power of the Dog. This could easily like happen. I mean, she may as well be a top 5. Yeah, I mean, if Power of the Dog is nominated, I think there's like, oh, Kirsten Dunst first
Well,
Oscar
if it's
nomination.
nominated, but I'm not sure.
Because Power of the Dog, I think the whole point of that movie and Netflix getting it is like there's a package of nominations, and with it's like screenplay actors, like that's like the kind of thing that it is, and it's also a period movie. It's trying to get nominated for acting awards, and Kirsten Dunst has been long overdue for some Academy recognition. I mean, since Melancholia, it's like
Yeah, I don't know how long overdue, but Melancholia,
That's
she
a decade
definitely
ago.
was good enough to be nominated.
and I think people could get behind that. So I'm very excited to see her in the movie. At 7, it's Jennifer Hudson in Respect. I do think this movie is just like not gonna get a Best Picture nomination. It just seems like kind of a generic biopic.
Judy.
Yeah.
Judy, though.
Yeah, she's playing a singer. Which is just an undeniable thing. I mean, last year, Andrew Day and Viola Davis were in there, and doing your own singing, which she's of course doing, is a big deal as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is similar to Andra Day because that was in a movie that nobody really thought was good.
I think it'll be better than that.
She was so undeniably good. I think the movie will also be better than that movie, but Andra Day was so undeniably good, they had to nominate her. Playing a well-known figure who sings is just a recipe for getting nominated. Mm-hmm. So the fact she's not even in the top 5 is like almost a little surprising, but I'm just not sure, like, maybe there's just not that much passion for the movie. Maybe it's like Chadwick Boseman Get On Up. I have no idea.
Yeah, it comes out in August, right? So there's
Yeah.
8 is Kate Blanchett in Nightmare Alley. Now, most people would be like, well, duh. Of course she's getting nominated for this. I just have to say this, though. Kate Blanchett's role is not necessarily a lead, okay? Here's what's happening with Nightmare Alley. I've done my research. I've looked up what the book is, what the last movie is. I skimmed through the last movie to see who has screen time where, all right? There are 3 female roles in this film, Bradley Cooper being the absolute lead. Toni Collette, Rooney Mara, Kate Blanchett. And in my observations from the 1947 film, Kate Blanchett might even have the least screen time. She has a big presence, but she doesn't show up for 40 minutes. Toni Collette, honestly, like, might be getting some supporting hype, all right? Honestly, she might be the one, maybe not even Rooney Mara. But why am I putting her in lead? First of all, everybody else kind of is. Amy Adams in Hillbilly Elegy last year was campaign and lead, even though I was like, I read what people said about the book and it seems like she's supporting, but no, they can switch things around. They can give people more screen time, but also they are going to have to campaign somebody in lead. They have to. They cannot campaign all 3 actresses in supporting. And so I think that they might go with Kate Blanchett just because she's like the giant, the 2-time Oscar winner.
I mean, look at Carol. She was technically not the lead, had less screen time than Rooney Mara. She went lead, Rooney Mara went supporting because she is Kate Blanchett. She has the presence and the command.
And that's why she's number 8, though, is because, you know, what if she's just a little bit too supporting? At the same time, she might be undeniable. She might be absolutely undeniable in the movie. 9 is Kristen Stewart in Spencer. Every year, I feel like we're kind of like, oh, could Kristen Stewart get nominated for this? Maybe this, and it never happens. And it might not happen again this year.
Billy Lynn's halftime walk. The supporting hype for her. She was in everyone's top 5.
But here she's playing Princess Diana. Did not work out well for Naomi Watts in 2013, but that's okay because this is in the hands of a very good director, Pablo Larraín. All right, and he did Jackie, and this could be a Jackie thing. Her nose is new. That's makeup. It could get a makeup nomination. It could get like costumes or something.
The thing I could see taking down the movie is because it might not like soar to the Best Picture category,
but also it's neon, and at the moment, and they could obviously pick up something from a festival, but at the moment they don't have that much on their plate.
I could also see this happening where this is some people's favorite performance of the year, and yet it doesn't get out, and it like pisses a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm feeling that for this one. Maybe it's because it's Kristen Stewart and it's like Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems where they're not used to nominating them, so they don't know what to do.
I hope that like the amount of respect for Kristen Stewart still isn't lagging behind her actual talent.
I think after this, it's going to be very clear that she like needs an Oscar nomination, but she might still not get it. There's a lot of really solid contenders in here, as you can see.
I mean, every year at the beginning of the year, it's like the top 10 may as well be the top 5 because they're all very, very likely to get nominations. And that's true for Jennifer Lawrence in Red, White, and Water. I mean, this is like easily something that could happen.
Yeah.
Easily.
I mean, Jennifer Lawrence, when she goes lead in like an Oscar-y or indie drama, it often happens. I mean, look at Joy. No one even liked that movie that much, and yet she still got nominated. It didn't happen for Mother because Mother was too fucking off the walls crazy.
Bonkers.
This movie is not going to be Mother. This is an A24 film. She's co-starring with Brian Tyree Henry. Maybe he's supporting, maybe he's lead. She's playing a war veteran with a brain injury. I mean, there's a lot there. She's going to be doing a lot. Jennifer Lawrence is great at not just being like big and crazy, but she's really good at like going small too.
And the director has done a lot of plays, which I learned recently. They even directed a Kenneth Lonergan written play, and I feel like that makes them experienced with actors for sure. Yeah,
she could be an easy top 5. We don't know. And we also don't know what Red, White, and Water is. Like, is that a Best Picture movie? We don't know.
But spoiler alert for later on this list, I do think this is the more meaty role than Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
At 11 is Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Jessica Chastain is playing a real-life, wacky, nutty person in a biopic. All right? I mean, you got to consider it.
Yeah, I wonder how comedic the film will be, because it's obviously like making fun of these televangelists, but there, it is a real biopic, so it can't be so funny that it's out of touch. Like, it is grounded in reality, so it's gonna be interesting.
Actually, I haven't seen anything that says the movie's a comedy. I've seen things that say it's just a drama.
No, it's gotta be funny. It's gotta be a little funny.
It's gotta be a little funny.
Director of The Big Sick. It's gotta be a little bit funny.
But I do think that they are taking like the character very seriously and like their examination of her. And Jessica Chastain's gonna be actually a few movies this year, so maybe like in 2011 it'll be like, oh, she's in so many things, like it kind of helps her.
I actually just don't see it as being as much of an Oscar movie as one where like they break down and cry or something.
She's harder to break down and cry.
I don't know, she's like a little harder to sympathize with people who are like that.
A lot of makeup potentially.
Yeah.
Then we have Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos, and like on paper it's like Nicole Kidman playing Lucille Ball. Like wow. In an Aaron Sorkin directed movie, no less. I don't know about this one though. Like I said in the Best Picture video, there's just some like kind of sour hype around this movie where people are like, Nicole Kidman doesn't really look that much like Lucille Ball.
Yeah,
it's also just like, as great of an actress as Nicole Kidman is, it is difficult to imagine her like accurately doing like the facial expressions and the voice and everything. And
you can give her whatever kind of nose you want. It might not work out this time around.
Something about it could ring a little inauthentic for people because they also know Lucille Ball so well that they're going to sniff it out if it's not quite there. 13 is Shantae Adams for A Journal for Jordan. She's going to be starring alongside Michael B. Jordan, and I do think that she seems like she's going to be the lead. I do think the movie's going to focus pretty equally like on the Michael B. Jordan character and Shantae Adams. It seems like an interesting project. I mean, Denzel Washington is directing, and there's definitely potential here for a newcomer to get a nomination, I think.
Yeah, and I always think it's good to point out and look for like those kind of performances, because we have mostly actors in here that are on people's radar or have been nominated before, but a lot of times we get great performances from people who we don't necessarily know, like even Martha Plimpton, just like shocking everybody at a Sundance. So that's going to happen somewhere. So I actually think that would be a good one to keep an eye on.
Then we have Marion Cotillard in The Brutalist. I think the film stars Joel Edgerton mainly, but she's like a co-star. Like she's along with him at every step of the way. It's about Joel Edgerton and his wife Marion Cotillard. They are Holocaust survivors, and then they go to the United States to sort of achieve the American dream, and Joel Edgerton is like this entrepreneur. And I think it's like this decade spanning. I hear it's like kind of a romance, a little bit of like an epic period drama. I mean, this could be a big deal. Like when this gets into the Toronto lineup, people are going to go, ooh, actually that movie is like a thing now. And people are kind of ignoring it right now.
And then we have Marion Cotillard and Annette, and we have a trailer for this film. She seems like she is definitely not as screen timed as Adam Driver is. And I think that could, just makes it less likely that she would be nominated alongside him if he were nominated. Or he has to be nominated for her to be nominated. Maybe she's supporting, maybe. So that made me think it was a little less likely. And Ammonite, oh shit. And get ready for me to call Annette Ammonite like over and over again throughout this season.
And then we have Jennifer Lawrence in Don't Look Up. The more I kind of think about this movie and read about it, like there are people who have read the script early and they say meh. And the initial like just plot description made me kind of say meh. And you would look at like an Adam McKay movie like Vice and say like 3 acting nominations, wow. But this is also not a historical thing. Like people aren't transforming into real figures. And so I think that makes it less likely for any of the actors to be nominated. That's kind of how the Oscars work anyway. Like she's just playing like a scientist. Like what do I do with that? I don't know.
She'll be good and funny, but I don't think it'll be like one of her best performances.
Then there's Rachel Zegler in West Side Story. And a lot of people like really think that she's getting nominated for this. And I guess it's understandable if you do believe that West Side Story is a huge contender. But here's the thing that like I just don't get. And someone explains to me, okay? So the original West Side Story gets 10 nominations. It gets a win in supporting actress. And yet Natalie Wood is not even nominated for lead. And you think in the remake, they're going to nominate the lead performer. I just don't get it. Someone explain it to me.
I don't think they're going to like completely rehaul the role of the lead in this film.
It would have to be a massive contender. I mean, she is a newcomer
she also is like really young and a newcomer. So That doesn't make sense to me either.
We have Sandra Bullock in the untitled Nora Fingshide project. I think the book is called Unforgiven, and they can't call another movie Unforgiven, so they have to figure out what to do about that. This could be a meaty role for Sandra Bullock for sure. I think that she's going to be the most likely vehicle for this movie in general to get any nominations. The film's about a woman who's struggling to reintegrate into society after she's let out from jail for committing a violent crime. Meaty role for Sandra Bullock for sure. The director's last movie is called System Crasher, and it actually had Helena Zengel in the lead role, and it has like a 90 on Metacritic. Not too many reviews, but like it's a well-liked movie from the people who've seen it. So maybe she actually is a really good director. I mean, we'll see what happens with that one. Florence Pugh in Don't Worry, Darling. Florence Pugh is now Oscar nominated, and so the gateways are open for more Oscar nominations in her future, which I expect. Not necessarily for this movie, which is a horror film. It does kind of have elements of that social horror, which makes it a little bit more of like something the Oscars could probably get behind. I wouldn't expect her to be contending for this unless the movie's a contender, and I have a lot of doubts that the movie is actually like a big contender. We have Katrina Balfe in Belfast. Now I have to admit, I probably should have included Belfast on our last Best Picture predictions as one of the 55 films there. I think it deserved to be somewhere. Kenneth Branagh directed and wrote it, but it's not like a Macbeth, like Shakespeare remake of some classic piece of literature. It's actually an original script from him that takes place in the 60s. I think it's about like a boy growing up in the 60s in America, and she plays the mother. I also learned that Judi Dench is playing the grandmother. So I went, well, that's supporting. And so you have to make her the lead.
Also, imagine if Judi Dench didn't pull off one of the weirdest award wins in history when she won supporting actress for Shakespeare in Love for doing like virtually a cameo. We would be like talking about her every year as being overdue, and that just shut everybody up.
We have Thomasin McKenzie in Last Night in Soho. Now, it seems that Thomasin McKenzie is the protagonist, though many people are under the impression that it's Anya Taylor-Joy. The other option is here that the two could be co-leads. And if they're co-leads, maybe they could put whoever they want in whatever category. Thomasin McKenzie seems like the one who'd be less likely to be nominated, assuming Last Night in Soho is the Oscars thing. Anya Taylor-Joy is probably giving the more showy performance, and Thomasin McKenzie, in some of these images, is looking like she goes off the goddamn deep end. She's got like raccoon like makeup on her eyes, and she's like bleeding from her nose.
I could see both of them being very good in the movie, but I don't know about them getting nominated. It could be like a Thoroughbreds kind of thing.
Thomasin McKenzie has Oscars in her future, though. I mean, she first of all, she should have been nominated for Jojo Rabbit. She's actually playing the lead in Olivia Wilde's next film about an Olympic gymnast. So that's going to be a pretty meaty role. I'd expect some awards attention there, too. And then there's Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter. And the movie's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, so that's kind of interesting. You know, actors are typically pretty good at directing other actors.
And she will probably be amazing in it, right?
I just don't think the movie's like primed to be like a huge awards thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but Dakota Johnson's also in it in a big role. I just think if the movie's only good or decent, it's not going to happen for her. I mean, her 2 nominations so far have been for very, very good movies.
Yeah.
We have Jessica Chastain in The Good Nurse. It is unknown if this is coming out this year, but Jessica Chastain's playing like the lead in a film where Eddie Redmayne is like a serial killer.
Just a serial killer doctor.
Yeah.
Kind of different than like just a serial killer. Straight
but
up.
Maybe there will be some lead acting consideration for that film.
It could be like a Girl on the Train kind of thriller though.
I guess that's true. That's true.
Maybe she gets a random like Golden Globe or SAG nomination. Who the fuck knows?
Then we have Naomi Harris for Swan Song. This is the film where Mahershala Ali plays a husband and a father who's dying of cancer and just chooses to clone himself. Seems like a very emotionally grounded sort of sci-fi drama. And I believe Naomi Harris is going to play the wife of Mahershala Ali. I expect she'll be campaign lead because we also have Awkwafina and Glenn Close in the movie. There's little known about the film other than the director won an Oscar for short film, but it could be interesting. Like if this shows up at like TIFF or something and causes buzz, like who knows? I mean, the actors in this movie are kind of insane. And finally, Tilda Swinton in 3,000 Years of Longing. I think 3,000 Years of Longing might be very bonkers, a little strange, a little too fantasy, a little too there's a genie in it granting wishes for the Academy. Mm-hmm. But if it's a thing, I mean, Tilda Swinton is just fantastic always. And those are our early predictions for Best Actress. Fully expecting to be 5 out of 5 here. So there's no suspense the rest of the award season. I mean, this is it.
You can look forward to the Best Actor predictions that we're going to be putting out. And then we'll do a video on all the supporting.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Who do you hope wins the Oscar?